So we have to empower countries to develop and utilize this next generation of technology. Two, we need to share technology as it's developed. You know, the United States has always been a great innovator of technology. And we are developing now next generation solar, next generation battery storage for technologies. We want to encourage their sharing around the globe. Now, how do you do that? One of the most important steps, I think, and the UN could take a role in this, is to expand the protection of intellectual property. It's going to be very hard to see that next generation of technology exported, developed, enhanced around the globe if those who develop it don't have confidence that other nations are going to protect the intellectual property they have developed, the patents they have obtained to develop that technology. We could have a program where we encourage countries like China that could go further in protection of intellectual property to develop the legal protocols to protect that property in exchange for a commitment on the part of the countries whose industries are developing these technologies to share those technologies. The second important global and national strategy would be to limit infrastructure limitations as they currently exist. Whether it's natural gas pipelines, oil pipelines, electrical transmission corridors where you can generate the power, often there are impediments to getting it from one part of the globe or from one country to another. If we could have enhanced protocols protecting national interests, but that allow these opportunities to be taken advantage of, we can enhance use of clean energy and economic opportunity. Let me give you one example. In Canada, in northeastern Canada, they have enormous hydropower resources. The peak demand for electrical use in Toronto, Quebec, Montreal is the winter, when it can be 30 below and they need electricity. Right here in New York City, our peak demand is now, or a few weeks ago in the summer, when it can be in the 90s and you have not just lighting but enormous demands for air conditioning. Canada has excess hydropower in the summer when they don't need it. New York has electrical limitations in the summer when we need it. A transmission corridor between Canada and the United States could improve both areas' economies, reduce the demand on traditional polluting fossil fuels, and enhance economic opportunity in both countries. The World Economic Forum should encourage countries to cooperate when there are mutually advantageous investments in infrastructure that will help deal with the energy issue. And let me just touch briefly, not just on the national, but on the subnational. You look at a place like rural sub-Saharan Africa, where a vast majority of the non-urban people rely on just simple fires within their homes to heat, to light, and to cook. The environmental consequences, the health consequences of this action are enormous. We've been working with professors at Colorado State University, and I guess one of them is here, who has developed a next generation of cook stove that reduces fuel use, eliminates the soot and pollution from going into that home, cleans the air, provides a better source of energy, and particularly for young infants would improve their health dramatically. We need to encourage bodies through the World Economic Forum, like the UN, to take that type of low-tech solution to an energy crisis and an energy problem that is very real and see that it is deployed around the globe. None of this is happening. You have these technologies that will help people. There's another one to retrofit two-stroke scooter engines that are in use in places like the Philippines and Indonesia that produce enormous inefficiencies, that can reduce pollution and enhance mileage, reduce energy usage, and improve the economy of it, but they are not being deployed. An entity like the World Economic Forum could work with the UN to encourage that to happen. It doesn't just have to be the next generation of wind and solar. It can be at the micro level to help families in rural parts of the developing world as well. Let me just finally touch briefly on the United States, because I'm an American. I can care very passionately about that. As Andy said, we passed the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, which is the only today in place limitation on carbon emission from power generation anywhere in the United States. We too have to take significant new steps in the United States to move forward. One, when you look at our transportation system, 97% of the fuel that is used to transport goods and people in the United States comes from petroleum. We're well into the 21st century. We should be putting in place massive incentive programs to develop, whether it's natural gas-powered vehicle, plug-in electric vehicle, hydrogen vehicles, not a decade from now, but today, to end that polluting use of petroleum in transportation in the United States. Let me give you one other example. U.S. has enormous renewable resources, wind power in the Great Plains and the Dakotas, geothermal power in the Rocky Mountains in the Mountain West, solar power in the Southwest. The problem is that is not where the demand for electricity is. Right now, economically, you could develop wind power in the Great Plains, but you can't get it to the market, to a place like Chicago or the Midwest. You can economically develop solar power in the Southwest, but you can't get it to Los Angeles or Southern California where the demand is. And it's not because it doesn't work economically, it's because of government permitting impediments. I am working with Mike Morris and AEP and others and Senator Bingaman to develop, as part of the U.S. energy law, legislation preempting local governments from being able to block interstate high-voltage electric transmission systems. There are so many solutions out there. We don't have to wait 20 years until some of the brilliant scientists in this room come up with the magic bullet. We need today to begin implementing globally the solutions technologically that currently exist. It can happen. A group like the World Economic Forum can help to make it happen. And that's why I agreed to participate today to encourage all of you to continue to support the WEF and to help make what we are looking to achieve in the future a reality. Thank you. Now, I probably spoke too long to do any questions, but it wasn't. I do appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thank you.